Welcome back to another video, Joe's favorite video. I know I missed it last week. I apologize. There's been a lot going on right now. Holidays, family things going on. My son's home from college and stuff like that. And be honest with you, crypto's getting a little stale. DePin's getting a little stale. And be honest with you, there hasn't been that much change since last week when I didn't do anything. When I'm sitting here updating prices, uh, token prices, and different things like that. Before we go any further, please do me the favor of hitting that like button. It helps a lot, and I really appreciate it. Also, I've been dropping some videos. Gardepro, who has sponsored me by giving me a trail camera, I did a video on it and dropped it on this channel and also my outdoors channel. If you get a chance, go check out that video. If you want a camera to look in watch your backyard or watch some DePin remote sites that you might have set up, GoPro might help you out. It's an inexpensive trail camera compared to what some of the other ones are that I compared it to. And I'm using it right now in the woods, and it takes some pretty good pictures. So check out GoPro. There's links below to the website in the description. So, hey, it's been a kind of a rough day for me today. That's why I'm getting started early on this because, when you turn 50 years old, there's a certain test you have to go do. And when you turn 50, which is actually they moved it to 45, but hey, I just found out about that age different change. So at 50, and you're lucky I'm sitting down right now. Let's just call it like that. I was up all night last night. Um, I don't have to go into any more details than that. Just don't get old is all I can tell you. But hey, that test was all clear from what it looks like, and you know, so I won't get cancer from that end. I can't say anything about the other end of me, but it won't come from the bottom end. So there we go. But I'm just, saying this as a public service. Hey, you're turning 50 years old. It's something grown-ups need to talk about. Nobody likes the C word. Cancer's a bitch. And, go get checked out. That's the best thing you can do to prevent it. And hopefully I got to deal with that for another 10 years. But go get checked out. Be there for your family long term. And, it's a grown-up adult thing that we all have to discuss sometimes and get serious. But that's my PSA, my public service announcement for the end of 2025 for Christmas. There you go. Merry Christmas. So without making this video any longer than it needs to be, we're gonna start jumping into some news. I am still gonna try to do a live at least Tuesday night. Thursday night probably won't be a good night. But I don't know. Depending on what I have planned, Thursday night we might still do a live. I do a live every Tuesday and Thursday night here, and we don't really talk about anything, like an agenda wise. We just all chit chat for a while, and whatever people ask, we discuss, and everybody discusses things amongst themselves and talks about new projects and different things like that. But some of the newest news that I found that some are calling it shocking, some are calling it rug pull, is that Wayru has decided to close its doors. And depending on how you feel about this, some people saying it saw it coming. I did look at Wayru a while back, and you know, it's kind of like the weather DePin. Like, how many projects do we need to offload Wi-Fi? We know Helium's doing it, and there's several projects doing it. I don't know exactly what caused this or anything like that, but they are closing its doors. Now, some people are saying this is a rug pull. I'm not gonna sit there and defend them, by saying it is or is not a rug pull. It just seems that in the DePin or crypto world, that when a project closes its door, it's automatically a rug pull. I don't think this project has been around for some time now. When you look at it, joined X in 2021, it had a name change January 2024. So even that's 2 full years. 2 full years of this project has been operating. I don't consider this a rug pull. Projects, just like businesses layer two, or in the real world, as we call it, mom and pop stores down the street from your house or downtown, businesses don't make it. They don't succeed. Not every business, even if it's getting business rolling through the door in consumer sales, sometimes businesses just don't make it. Why is that not allowed in the crypto world? When it happens, people want to automatically call this a rug pull. I just don't see it as a rug pull. They they had product out. They were selling product. They were trying to get their network working, and it didn't work out. Now, one thing that I'm still seeing online is that Helium Deploy is still selling these devices. I'm hoping Helium Deploy does the right thing, and soon we'll put some type of disclaimer out here saying that Wayru is going under. So they still have the Wayru Apocalypse that is, looks like a gaming router that is available here. And he also is this Wayru Prometheus that is also available here, and it would ship January 5th. So I'm hoping that there's some kind of disclaimer that comes soon. But when you come back here, you do see that they refuse to let years of innovation vanish. We are organizing technology for public release on a GitHub, allowing the Wayru vision to live through other builders. Committed to ensuring that devices do not end up as e-waste, which is good because we've seen some of those devices from other projects that happen to, like Orion and Helium. So our networks and platforms will progressively enter inactivity starting today, which is December 22nd. So this was from last week. We will be published and officially shut down December 30th, which is tomorrow, or today, depending on when I release this video. To everyone who's deployed a hotspot, believed in open connectivity, and joined this adventure, thank you, the Wayru team. I just don't agree with this thing. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if people can get their tokens. I don't know how far along this project was. Businesses just sometimes just don't make it. I don't know. I know everybody's gonna have their feelings hurt. Hey, I'd be upset too if I paid for those devices and I didn't get my device. I didn't get an ROI. I didn't get anything like that. Then I would I'd be upset too. So that's Wayru and what's going on with them. So here's Bitcoin. If anybody knows what the hell's going on with this, I don't know. We finally get some momentum. We get stuff coming straight up, and it just all corrects back down. I'd like to draw another line, some right here to show the support, but why really? And it's kind of just all going sideways at some point. As you can see right here, bouncing between 87 and 90,000. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm hoping that, some of this might be people messing with, taxes and stuff like that. And come 2026, something breaks out one way or the other. And as usual, you follow certain YouTubers and, some people, this is always the greatest thing in the world is, okay, now we shake this out. Now this manipulation's over with. We're going hitting back 100. And you talk to some other people who say, the air's out the bag, and so to say, and we're going down to 72,000 next. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to call this one. My biggest concern is what's gonna happen with alt season, if we're ever gonna have an alt season, and what's gonna happen to our DePin projects. Because right now, all of our DePin projects, other than maybe one, which is a very surprising one, I think all of them have gone down except one. One's up like 60% for the week, which I still can't believe it. But I'm not ready to call myself wrong on that one. They got a lot of recovery. But we're gonna get into those projects. But this is Ethereum. This is Bitcoin. Ethereum has basically done about the same thing. They have just going sideways. Same thing. They're bouncing between 2,900 and 3,000, 33,050. And that's all they've been doing for the last, week or so. It is down since about 2 weeks, since my last video. I don't know. Salon's another one that's bouncing around. It's kind of come straight down since my last video. But it's same thing. Bouncing between like the 130, 120 range back and forth. And we gotta check on Vet, which is Grumpy's, DCA token for a while. But I drew this line at exactly 1 penny. It fell below 1 penny. I thought it was gonna go down more the way this was dropping so hard. I waited a tad too long. So I bought in a little bit over 1 penny. It was like 1.02 or something like that. So technically I'm up. Not up a lot, but hey, I'm up a little bit, and that's all that counts. But that's all I really DCA'd in. I have some levels set up with a couple of different token prices, but nothing else that really caught my mind. Here's XRP, just because a lot of y'all ask about XRP. It was down to this one about this 175 level, 177 level, came back up to 194. It's doing the same thing. It goes to show you how, they sit here and talk about how Bitcoin does its own thing because of ETFs and stuff, but a lot of this is following that same Bitcoin. It has not detached yet from Bitcoin. So let's start getting into these projects so we don't make this video way too much longer. And just remember, none of this is financial advice when we start talking about these tokens. Um, I do own these tokens that I do buy. No secret that I have been selling Crow here and there to help pay some bills lately. Things are stupidly tight. I don't know why. It just seems like every time you go to the store, things cost a little more. And so I have been selling a little bit of Crow here and there. I've built up my Crow. I was quite proud of how much I built up my Crow over the last 3 or 4 years with that crowcrypto.com card. And I've sucked some of it out of it. But other than that, I've been holding on to most of my tokens because the prices are down so much. I can't stand to sell them this low. And then it seems like I'm holding out hope that, hey, I don't want to sell no Silencio or DIMO or ROVR or anything like that because the token's going down so much. So I'm going to hold on to it and it's going down some more. So should you just sell at some point? That's the number one question we always have with crypto. But let's get started on our projects. And for those who haven't caught up on my videos, it's been kind of busy last 2-3 weeks. I have finally set up a 4D Sky Station. Set that up yesterday. We're going to go over that in the 4D Sky Station section later. And I also have one Mastchain set up here. And I have another Mastchain station coming soon that I'm going to be adding also to my repertoire, if that's what you want to call it. Be about 30-40 miles upriver from where this one is. So I'll have a pretty large corridor. I'm eventually working on one closer to the mouth of the river, but we'll go over that during the Mastchain section in a little bit. All right, here we go. We get started on our crypto projects right here. And as usual, make sure you hit that, take a second real quick, reach down, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't hit the thumbs up button already. So starting off with our mainnet projects, still number one, even though I can't really put a dollar price on it, but just because I'm earning so well with it, I have to keep it as number one. It is still doing very well for me right now. And as you can see, so far, I have made almost $1,500. And that has been since probably about June. So in 6 months. And now I do have several stations on this. I don't want nobody to think they have one or two stations, because I can see from my referrals that some of y'all have joined it. Y'all put one station on it and y'all haven't really been making that much. What I do like about EarnApp is it runs on basically everything. Unlike Grass, unlike some of these other ones, with EarnApp, I can run this on all my Raspberry Pis that are running Wingbits DIY stations, now on a Mastchain stations, because those are running on Pis, or on these old computers that's running on the Linux, Ubuntu, Debian type system. Can run EarnApp on those also, especially on they're on a separate external IP. Or I have three old computers on the separate networks that are running different things, and I can run EarnApp on Windows also. That's why I can do it on so many different computers, and that's why I can do so well in this. But I've been doing very well on EarnApp, and right now, I cashed this out a week before Christmas. So was that early last week? Maybe a little bit more than that. And I'm back up to $98 already. So I might cash this out for some fireworks because I don't have any extra really cheddar right now. But still want to shoot some fireworks with my kids, with my son being in town and stuff. So I might cash this out and get this moved over to PayPal, which eventually goes to my checking account, and I can spend this on some fireworks or something, or just keep it rolling. But that's what that's doing. All right, we're gonna move on from EarnApp. Next is gonna be still in first place for the fourth week in a row, technically fifth week. Is gonna be Geodnet. Geodnet's making about $1.67 a day, and what's good about the Geodnet token, what I was getting at, was the price has really not moved even in 2 weeks since I've did this video. It was at 13 something cents before. It's at 13.9 now. I think it's down like 1%, maybe 2%, which is not bad at all. There are no announcements at all from Geonet as far as when I look on the Discord. Maybe people just kind of taking some time off with the holidays and stuff like that. But Still rolling strong with Geodnet. They moved their token to Solana, and we have about 5 months and 2 days until the next halving. It's gonna hurt. Um, fun fact is, I had somebody contact me. I still have a little Discord troll that follows me into. Basically, he's in every server I'm in, 15 or 16 mutual servers. Um, and he just wants to attack me and just spread FUD and BS about me, stuff like that, saying I only do things for the codes and stuff like that. And it's not true. I had a guy in my Discord. If y'all not in my Discord, make sure y'all in my Discord. There's a link below. But he even asked me about getting a either WB200 for Wingbits or a is it MGW310 for the Geonet / Wingbits device. And I suggested the Wingbit station. So that goes to show you that I'm not in this to make extra money, because I took money out my pocket. Let's be honest. He was using my discount code, but I told him my concern is with the Geonet project is, if you are concerned, that's what I told him. If you're concerned with ROI and you want your ROI to be, within a certain time frame, you might have an issue with that MGW310 being almost $1,000. It's about $600 more. So are you going to make that $600 up within the time frame that you're worried about? So just going off today's prices. Now, look, this can fluctuate one way or the other, but you're looking at 359 days. This is not even going to be accurate, because in 5 months, this is going to have. So you're going to be probably close to a 380 to 400 day ROI. If you're okay with that because you like the Geonet project, and look, I like the Geonet project. I think they're a good based project. Um, they're a good project. They got customers and everything like that. Just because it's a good project don't mean it has good rewards for miners. That's one of my rules. It's up to you, but it goes to show you, I'm not in it just for making my codes. I have the code. It gets you 10% off most products. It's helping you out. You make more off than what I actually make per device. It's not about what I'm making. And again, by suggesting this to this guy to get just the WB200, I saved him money and I took money out my pocket. So it goes to show you, I'm not in it for the codes. I'm in it to help y'all out. That's why I started this channel. But all right, that's over with. All right, moving on from Geonet. Next is going to be Chirp. Chirp's consistently going down in price. If anybody knows what the hell's going on with this project, please let me know. I got my usual FUD about it. People get upset with my FUD, but let's be honest. I say the same thing over in every video. I'm trying not to repeat myself like I do in every video, but they can't claim they're having this great IoT network when there's hardly any stations around the world. They got to do something to try to push more stations out around the world, and maybe that's what the problem is. Chirp, like a couple other projects, it hurts when I see what I had in my wallet a couple of months back compared to where it's at now. The last week alone, it is down 13%, which is about 14.5 cents to about 12.9 cents now. But when you look at it for over the last month is down 45%. So that was 2.3 cents down to 1.2 cents now. And it's just been a steadily dive since then. When it was up here in some of these higher price ranges, the wallet looked very well. But hey, even with this going on, we're still making about $1 a day. Compared to some of these other projects, we're still doing pretty well with that. As far as announcements, the only big announcement they've had was Merry Christmas to everybody, and there's a Chirp network upgrade going on. We're in the middle of major back-end refactor to support a wave of new features coming in Q1 next year. Because this upgrade, most services will be temporarily unavailable Monday and Tuesday. Thanks for your patience. I don't think I went over this in my last video, but there's a new feature alert. Customizable dashboards on Chirp. No more clicking device by device. More usability, more users, more growth, and drop your comment, whatever. So apparently you can change around your device dashboard. I have not messed with this at all. Really, I haven't tell you the last time I really looked at mine. I just let my device run, and every now and then I move my Chirp and claim my Chirp. So with me on Chirp KAGE, I have not really been getting any beacons because there's no beacons in my small town. Even when I'm in Baton Rouge, New Orleans now, I have my my little device going, Chirp KAGE, and even with the 10-kilometer setting, I'm not getting anything. So, if I do get one in Baton Rouge, it's 10 kilometers away, and I'm not going to search all over Baton Rouge for it. They call me lazy. But when I did do it for 1 month and I got 4 or 5 beacons, it really wasn't worth the extra effort. But that's just me. I know some of them can be worth a lot. Just the ones I didn't. So that's Chirp. All right, so next is going to be Onocoy, making about 76 cents a day. Depending on when you check the last update on their price, they have gone up a little bit. If you were checking back here at the 0.23 level, came up to 2.6. Either way, still in the 2-cent range. Kind of holding strong compared to was, even though they got some sell pressure going on down here. When you go to the Chirp Discord, there's not hardly any the Onocoy update. Discord for updates, there's not really much going on up there. However, if you go to the X account, there is a new HVA live in Sumter, South Carolina. So if anybody's in that area, there is a client demand. And look, I like client demands because even though it might not be in my area, it shows me there's a use case and there's customers purchasing the Onocoy service. So I think that is good. And it's a positive thing for this project. So make sure you if you're in this project, make sure that you're also on their X, because again, this isn't on their announcement on Discord. That's Onocoy. We're going to move on and save some time. Next is going to be ROVR. ROVR price has come down slightly in the past week or so. And I remember when this price was holding on for as hard as it could, for holding on for dear life. No pun intended. At a penny, and it seems like a month ago it was at 9 cents, and now it's down to 7.8 cents. So it is slowly coming down, and as you can see, we are making about 65 cents. And again, that's just me guesstimating. What you're going to make with this project is going to vary strictly on how many kilometers you're driving, and if those kilometers have been traveled a lot with a ROVR device, or if they're new roads. So I'm just kind of giving a general 50-mile, day trip, 25 miles one direction for work, maybe plus lunch, and 25 miles home, shopping or something like that. And that's what the average is out to be. And the average is about to be about 65 cents. I kind of use the same numbers so that I can compare it every week. And there's not pretty much any announcements going on in their Discord. However, here's another one where they seem to be updating and more worried about their X account. So make sure you belong to the ROVR_network X page, and you can see what they have going on. And they are updating this daily, if not several times a day, with different things and updates they got going on. Summaries of what they did in 2025. So make sure you are in that X account. One thing I will remind everybody with ROVR is they have this awesome program about staking. I think it's absolutely awesome. There's even a video that you can go to on their Discord that was posted actually 2 days ago about the ROVR staking and some of their, what the options are and stuff like that. If you're interested in this at all, I would suggest you go to it. Again, I think this is an awesome program. I've told you before, I hate to sound like a broken record, but when I really like a project and I think they got some good things, I'm gonna hit it every week. And this staking, more projects can learn from this. You take X amount of ROVR tokens, whatever it requires, and you put that in their staking program, and they will send you a free Litecoin miner, which is worth several $1,000s. And you get to use that as long as your coins are staked for at least a year. When a year's up, you can either get your tokens back, you send the device back to them, or you can continue using it. People are making some great rewards. I got people in my live telling me how much they're making in their Litecoin, especially when they're traveling back and forth. I mean, it is kind of a big gaudy device that's on the top of your hood. But if you ain't worried about that because you're a DePin, king, then go ahead, king. If I was doing trips, I would I will try to look to get the one. I don't know if I'd have the collateral to be able to put up for the staking, but I think it's a great program. And I think, you know, if you're interested in this at all, you might want to go check out this video and learn more about it. All right, moving on. Next is going to be Natix. Now, my Santa Christmas wish was that Natix goes back up in price. You know, a while back, it was at a decent price. I have 100, you know, I forget what I have, 1,000 tokens or whatever it is in Natix. And I was hoping this was going back up, and it does not seem to want to go back in that direction. For a week is down 6%, which is not too bad. For the month is down 22%, which is 0.00036. That 0.0027. It's down like everything else. But, you know, for a little while, I thought it was going to start, you know, kind of going back up, and it doesn't seem to want to do that. So no really big updates from Natix. December HODL raffle is live. If you're messing with the HODL raffle, something I've really never messed with. Visual language model thing or something like that. Happy holidays. But there's another announcement somewhere. And also checking their X account. They seem to be also updating more on the X account than anything else. They got this world seek thing that they're pushing now. Physical AI uses cases to explode in the near future. So we're going to visual language models. So apparently Natix is involved in that. And, you know, they discussed a couple of different things. So again, you want to see what Natix is doing. Hey, at least they're active. I have to say, this has been a free project, even with the price reduction down. I am up a couple of $100 if I wanted to cash out now. Again, that's my hard-headedness that I always think in the positive, hoping that the price goes up, that maybe I can do a little better than just cashing out like $300. At one point, it was like $900. Now it's like $300 for a free project that cost me nothing to get in. That's running on an old phone. I don't think that's that bad. So let's keep going. After Natix is, and then we won't know exactly what I made for the month of December until next week's video. I guess Friday, technically, when the next month drops. So next is gonna be Entropy. Santa let me down on this one also. This one dropped another spot or two. It is down in 6th place, making 27 cents a day. Hey, if there's any positive at all, our tokens went up about 200 tokens compared to what we were last video. Devices either getting banned from selling, or people just not keeping them online anymore. But we are making, after the tithe tax, we're making about 18,265 tokens. So I think it's about 120 something thousand a week. So that's Entropy. Price has not really moved that much. You know, I guess you can say it was after that big sale when they had that goofy thing where they handed out a bunch of tokens at a Solana event to try to get more people involved in it. All he did was sell the tokens, so that kind of backfired. You know, it was at 18 when that was done, and it's down to 15 now. You know, it did come up a little bit, so we do get some buy action every now and then. But, you know, we're down to 68,000 liquidity when at one point this was like 253,000, 300,000. So there's a part of me that wonders if I'm the last goofball holding the bag in this. We know what the whole game is. You're not supposed to sell. But, you know, every time I look at my Phantom wallets, this thing's less and less and less. I'm hoping these guys have something up their sleeve to try to get this token resurrected. Hey, it was a meme token and you're mining nothing. We all know the whole gimmick. We all know the whole, you know, thing on that, but it just sucks. And I just keep saying it sucks. I will continue to say over and over, I knew that the amount of tokens we were mining per week would go down because of the amount of stations going online. But I still will defend myself saying nowhere at all did we see the price dropping this bad. So, you know, I don't know who's still holding tokens. I'm not getting into the FUD of what people are saying about people who are involved in this project or early miners and all this stuff like that. I'm not getting involved in that because I can't prove none of it. I just know what I'm holding. I have 3 ESP32 devices going. I got 4 Entropy Ashlers that I have. So that's 7 devices. I have not sold any out of all of them. And I'm sitting here holding the bags. And I don't know if I'm the last one holding the bags. hey, it won't be my first or last project with that happening. We know that these guys are still active. We see them online doing different things, going to different events, trying to get the Entropy name out there. I just don't know. I don't know what else they're going to do, what else they can do to get this token price back up. We'll have to see. Moving on. Next is going to be DIMO. DIMO's also come down in price a little bit. You know, we're down 7%, which is really not that bad. Not the whole thing. It was at 1.3 last week. It's at 1.3, 1.2 now. So it's not the complete end of the world. For the month, it is down 40%. It was at 2 cents last month. So that has taken a hit. You know, I don't know what else DIMO is going to do. This is getting ugly. Again, you're making 12 cents per day per device. So as far as announcements from DIMO, they were featured in Motor Trend magazine. So you can go on here and check out this article from Motor Trend magazine about DIMO. Hey, I guess it's a cool little write-up letting people in the automotive world know what DIMO's doing. And then they have this holiday anniversary special. DIMO next supporting the milestone. Thank you, community, driving this. And they're partnering with the Fry Network. I went over this in my live and about puked because I am not a fan of Fry at all. There seems to be a lot of gimmicks. They don't know what project they want to sit here. They want to be something that covers all projects. I know they've screwed some people over in the past, but hey, if there's a new reiteration of the Fry project and it's legit and people doing good, I'm happy for y'all. It's just that when I see people get burned with a project, I kind of dump that project. And people who were in the initial iteration of Fry have told me they got burned on it, and it is what it is. So I guess DIMO and Fry work hand in hand together. So you can go read about that if you want. There's nothing really on their X at all. You know, there's a big push months ago about subscribers and all this stuff. You don't hear nothing about that anymore. I don't know what else is going on with this project. I guess they're just going to let it cruise control to whatever happens. If it literally runs into a wall or not, no pun intended, but I guess we'll see. Moving on is going to be 375 AI. All right, so 375 AI, I'm still running this project on my phone everywhere I go, every time I'm in the vehicle. Somehow I lost my streak. I don't know how, which is very upsetting because I had a streak going for like 70 or 80 days. And for some reason, it lost it like 4 days ago, which I don't know how, but hey, it is what it is. I don't think I was getting any kind of bonus for a streak anyway. But you can see it's down 5% for the week, which is not bad. It was at 3 cents, a little over 3 cents earlier this week. It came up to 3.3 and now down to 3.0. They did just have a reward reward sent out for whatever epoch they're on. So I'm sure that has something to do with the negativity in the price also. You know, for the month it is down 26%, which hurts a little bit. But again, that's kind of crypto in a whole, other than one project we're going to talk about shortly. Nothing really going on in the Discord at all on the Discord. But again, here's another project that seems to be more worried about pushing information on their X. Hey, maybe it gets to more people. Maybe they have more subscribers. Here's another project that if you're in, you know, if you're on X, you need to be, and you're in this project, 375 AI, you need to be on here also. So, you know, all the snow, we don't get snow down here at all, but it's gotta be cold up there. That's all I'm gonna say. But they seem to be starting some kind of new challenges and scan near you, some kind of testing thing or something. I don't know. You can see right here also, find shells with 1 energy drink more, take a picture, get rewarded. Something new they're doing. I wish I had time for that kind of stuff. I hope it helps the project. What does this have to do with 375 AI? You know, this is kind of like Chirp with KAGE. What the hell does that have to do with, you know, finding beacons have anything to do with a Chirp IoT project? But here's 375 AI. So I guess, you know, it'll help build up, you know, help with their project. So I guess we'll get some more information about that, and you know, we'll see. All right, so moving on to the next one, the Silencio. And look, the way I'm looking at it right now, I'm not gonna be completely wrong. Y'all, you know, proceed at y'all's own risk of however way y'all want to handle it. But the way I look at it is the whole you know, sound sensing part of this project is basically done with, forked, whatever you want to call it. And everything now is into the um, voice AI thing. We're going to talk about that in a second. One thing I will have to give them props on, they are up. You know, you don't have to rub your eyes. 91% in a month. Hey, maybe there is something to this voice AI thing. So we'll give props where props is due. No other project that we've discussed is even close to this. This is probably one of the very few projects, if any of the projects I go over in this video, that's in the positive green, let alone 90%. It is up 71% just in the past week. So hey, I'm glad I didn't sell it. I wouldn't even know how to sell it. I don't even know if I have a peak wallet. I'm in so many different freaking projects. I can't keep up, but apparently I had to have added a peak wallet to do the voice AI thing, but I don't know. So they're talking about the voice AI on here. Just so I can go over it again. Look, this is an easy thing. If I had time, I'd sit in front of the computer and just read paragraphs all day. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So you can earn $2 for every hour you do it, plus get paid $10 an hour for approved voice AI recordings and stuff like that. That's pretty good. Pretty damn good. They've received positive client feedback, which I read this as they have paying customers, legit paying customers who are buying this voice AI stuff, and they're doing all these different languages. So you make sure that you're using a quality approved recordings delivered until the end of the year. We paid out USDC between January 5th and 9th. So I got some work to do. Recordings delivered after that will be reviewed for the next payout wave. Make sure you update your wallet information on your voice AI earnings page. So they show you that. Make sure that you have a USDC wallet on there. And I have to go check this. I don't know what wallet I'm using. I don't know what wallet even supports Peak. That's one issue. Even though I own Peak and I DCA into Peak occasionally, they still got some work ahead of them. You can go visit the campaign side and you can explore opportunities, and you can see that you can earn up to $10 USD just by speaking English. They got plenty of room left for that. If you speak Swahili, if you speak Yoruba, Haza, Urdu, Afrikaans, whatever. No disrespect, I just don't know how to pronounce it. Portuguese, Brazil, Igbo, Hindi. So anyway, you can see that these are all the different people who are requesting this information, and you get a 10x bonus. Mandarin, English, Akan, Malay, Nepali, Zulu. So it's got something for everybody. So go ahead, jump on it. So this might have something. This might have some positivity. And then the thing about it is the only thing that's weird is this is paying in USDC, not in Silencio tokens. Not that I'm complaining, because USDC is USDC. You don't have to worry about the token going back down. But for Silencio projects, shouldn't this be paying in Silencio? It's just weird that Silencio does not pay in Silencio. Because even if you're doing the voice, I mean, even though you're going around doing the sound readings and stuff like that, you are getting raffle tickets. And at the end of the month, you claim those raffle tickets for Silencio tokens. Just get rid of the raffle ticket thing. I can't stand a raffle ticket thing. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But hey, I'll give credit where credit's due. Congratulations, Silencio. This is a hell of a run on their price of their token. Up 91%, still down 83% for the year, 0.004. But hey, you can see this is a very nice curve going up. This is on the yearly chart. So maybe we'll get some momentum going that way. But again, if they're paying out USDC, there's no rush to even sell the token. So this is just confusing to me. Maybe tomorrow in my live we'll discuss this some more. So another project that is updating the hell out of their X account, getting this one too, is Silencio. Alpha burn progress program by our foundation continues. Diving for all details. So they have burned 21 million Silencio. That's $2,000 removed. Again, though, what's the matter if you're not selling? You're not giving out Silencio. at least on the voice AI side. I don't know. This is just confusing to me. But check out their AI and let's move on. So moving on past Silencio is gonna be Weather XM. And I made a joke yesterday in my video that I put up for 4D Sky that I have my Weather XM device back on. It just mysteriously started working again. It was in my house unplugged for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer than that. And it actually started, showing up again. And I actually took video that when it was raining earlier, and I'll see if I can post it right now. Hey, Nubla, I'm gonna show you how this is supposed to be done. Look, I'm getting 1.8 inch an hour rain rate right now, precipitation rate. I also know that my wind is coming 2 miles per hour out of the west. See how that's supposed to work? But I joke around that Nubla should learn something from here, because with this, I can see the precipitation rate on how much is it raining, if it's raining or not. And I can also see the wind direction. And it seems like Nubla completely missed the boat on that one. I don't know why. And it makes me question a couple of things. But either way, Weather XM. So Weather XM price looks like it was holding strong. Hey, it was at 5 cents, which is just a little bit lower than where it is now. It's 4%, which is not really that bad at all. But it did come up to 5.3, came up to 5.3 again, and it just in the last day, it just kind of just took this dive down. So I went from about 5.2, almost 5.3 down to 4.8. So that is a little bit of a dump. I think they need to recover, because right now, when you're making 10 cents a day, who's buying a $300 device at 10 cents a day? You're looking at 1,000 days for ROI on that device. Basically, you're never going to ROI on it. You're going to be in this project to get a weather station. Hey, $300 for weather station is not bad. I bought some weather stations that were over $1,000. So, hey, you're buying a weather station, you're making a little bit of income back, 10 cents a day, 11, 12 cents a day, depending if the price goes up. And you have to look at it like that and not look at it as Lambo money or even gas for Lambo. The only announcement they really had with Weather XM is they had two winners of 2026 data licenses, and that's going to be Weather XM out of Zug in Switzerland and Zeus Bit Sensor Subnet, Orpheus AI BV Netherlands. They both entered the auction with the minimum bids of 100,000 WXM, transferred the amount to those wallets. Fees from those total revenue brings the total revenue to 75,000 USDC and 200,000 WXM. And each company bidding 100,000 WXM is still $4,800. So that's nothing to really laugh at. I mean, nothing joke around about. That's $10,000 that they had coming in from just those two licenses alone that they sold, and those companies get to use the Weather XM data. So hey, now they do definitely have some players who are using the Weather XM data, including others, not just those two. So that's a good thing. That's about the only announcements that Weather XM has had. So we're gonna move on to Nubla, another project I'm extremely disappointed in. I don't know what the hell's going on with them. So like, this network needs to get its shit together. And I hate the curse, but that's the best way I can say it. You go to announcements on their Discord where they've been keeping up with announcements before. There's nothing on there. Nothing on there since the 15th. But here's another project that you go to X and you find out that their node operations have started. Shouldn't this been all over the place on Discord? Because I have a node that I purchased, $300. Then I found out that if y'all remember, in November, I got rewarded for the top 3 influencers for Helium Deploy that people use my referral code and stuff. It was a contest we had, and of course, Tech Hustler came in first, somebody else came in second, I came in third. And I recently found out finally what I won, and it was another Nubla node. Yay me. But I don't have any Nubla nodes set up right now. Didn't know anything about Nubla nodes being set up. Nubla validator nodes are now live. So you have to come on the X, click on this, and connect it and do everything. And I guess I'm going to do a separate video on this. I know several of y'all use my code to buy nodes for this project, and we'll see. There are some people making some comments in the Discord about it, not being able to keep them online. You have to be online at least 6 hours for it to give you a reward, and people getting disconnected after 5.5 hours or something like that. I need to go read more into it, and I'm going to see what's going on with this. But I don't know what else the hell's going on with Nubla. Their price just keeps dropping. It's down 9%. It did come up a tad, it was at 0.004, came up to 0.005 and back down, and it's back down to 0.0038, and it's down 71%. Again, people are claiming all kinds of stupid stuff for this project. It is too early. I don't know if they just went to TGE way too early, but I do question, and I've questioned it from the beginning. I've told y'all, a project that does not show if it's freaking raining on that weather station, to me, I question the legitimacy of it. If it's not showing wind like this one does, or what direction the wind's coming from, so you'll know if a front's coming through or what direction the hurricane's coming from. I don't know. I don't know how good that project's going to be, but I'm in it. I knew Weather XM was having issues, and I wanted to get into a different weather project because I'm a weather nerd at heart. Been one for a long time. I get into all this stuff. I have a weather YouTube page, so I wanted a different weather station. I got it on Nubla, and doesn't seem like it was my smartest decision, but there's been many of those in 2025. So we'll have to see what's going on with Nubla. All right, we're gonna be moving on. Helium IoT is at $1.50. Price is steadily going down, making 4 cents a day. I'm not wasting a lot of time on this. I don't know if I'm gonna continue. I've kind of leave Helium IoT on this just as a respect thing, since this was the grandfather of DePin projects, the OG, whatever you want to call it, and I did very well on it in the beginning and for some time after that. But at 4 cents a day, I'm slowly taking some of my stations offline and using that equipment, especially the antennas, for for mesh core and mesh-tastic nodes around my South Louisiana. So instead of me going buy new 915 megahertz antennas, instead of me making 4 cents a day, God bless, I'm using those antennas for better use in mesh-tastic and mesh core. So that's what I'm doing with Helium IoT for now. And it's weird. I have stations that are not in great areas with other stations around that are making 0.1 H&T a day almost. Maybe not a day, over 3 or 4 days. And I got some stations that are in better areas with more stations around that are making half that. I don't understand it. I don't even want to dig into it. I don't care. I don't know what's going to happen to Helium. I don't believe any of the hype anymore on X or anything that they're trying to say about their tokens. Grass, I don't know if I'm going to continue covering grass either. I'm just not going to get into the rant that I usually get. Go check all my other videos. But a project that clearly does not give a shit about the people who are sitting and running it. They have enough of these fanboys. I guess they're from third world countries that are just getting their hopes up on having some kind of life-changing money because, and I'm not trying to be negative, sarcastic, and a-hole. You go read the Discord. That's how they talk. And I think they're going to be very disappointed after running this for, right now we're going on 14 months that we have not gotten rewarded on this project. And I think, and this is what a lot of other people are saying also in the X and the Discord in different places, that you're not going to see the rewards like we normally got, or we got originally. I don't know. I'm running devices right now, but I just look at it as every epoch that they continue, the price goes down. They don't care. They've already gave out rewards once. They should not have a trouble giving out rewards again, but yet they want to come up with new wallets and all this other stuff. And they come out with a device to mine. Y'all got 1 million people mining this thing right now. Why do you need to waste time or even do a money grab if y'all going to make money off these devices? To me, you're stalling. And grass needs to get to it. Or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop talking about grass. Not that anybody's going to care. Not the grass is going to care or the participant is going to care if Grumpy talks about it or not. But just out of my own, honor, I'm not going to talk about them until they come back out with possibly paying people, because I think this is sad. And they should care about the people, and they clearly don't. They clearly don't want to listen. How about that? All right, moving on. Testnet. We're here at Wingbits. One of the big announcements for Wingbits is that low altitude rewards are live, and starting around December 22nd. But basically, they will be implementing something in the future to help people visualize the areas around a airport. But basically, you have 6 hexes that are around the airport, and I guess if you're under a certain, because the thing is it has to be under a certain altitude. I'm guessing, I think it's 10,000, because I do have planes that travel 30,000, 40,000 feet above um than like the New Orleans International Airport. Another thing is like Baton Rouge. I have 2 stations around the Baton Rouge International Airport. American Airlines and these big airlines do go through there, but apparently it's not in the top 500 airports, and it's not covered, which was kind of disappointing because I put 2 stations over there on top of buildings for that airport. But either way, they're coming in, and I know I'm covering those flights. But so how do you see your, what kind of rewards you're getting? If you go to reward distribution, reward breakdown, and you can actually go up here and click low altitude, it will tell you how many tokens you're getting for low altitude at different locations. So that is a bonus. Um, you do have daily rewards, beta rewards. Somebody was asking me the other day about the difference between daily rewards and beta rewards, if it's a combination or beta rewards is a combined. I really don't know. I told them to ask Axie. But again, to be able to see what your low altitude for certain, certain locations are. Again, this is also going to fluctuate a little bit depending on how many flights you have coming during the day. But we knew low altitudes were coming, and it's cool to see that they have, started that. So no news on TGE or anything like that. They're supposed to also have another announcement coming soon. I thought they said around Christmas or New Year's. Unless they were talking about low altitude rewards. But they did send this kind of cryptic tweet out last week that people are talking about. And there's several different people asking, what the hell is this? I am kind of curious my own self. Some people are guesstimating that it could be a new device because of all the issues they had with the high fix stations. Somebody said it was, kind of a combined miner that you can do something else with it in addition to like, share Wi-Fi or something like that in addition to Wingbits. We're gonna have to wait and see. Um, some people are negative all the time and made some negative comments that I'm not going to probably share at this time, but I can see where they're coming from also. Um, a lot of people bought hotfix devices, and now you're coming out with something new. Hey, it's coming in 2026. This could be after TGE. I hope it's after TGE, but we'll see. But hey, it goes to show you that even though they're not going to TGE just yet, they're still working. They're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, as I'm told. And we'll see. I think 2026 is going to be a huge year for Wingbits, and I'm glad I'm here along for the ride. All right, moving on is Combinder. I have nothing on Combinder. Again, I checked the Telegram occasionally, and I get a headache, and I get off of it. I'm not a Telegram user, and it's impossible to keep up with things going on in these projects with all these people talking and more worried about peak rewards and stuff like that than anything. Combiner needs to get on Discord or something. Even when you check their X, there's nothing on it. They reposted a couple different things, but nothing about the project themselves. It's a little concerning for me, but hey, I told y'all I got in this project because I needed smart plugs to begin with, and it worked out. It was free to add your smart plug if you got the Shelly ones, and free to add the combiner. We'll see what happens from here. All right, moving on. Next is going to be BrushO. And BrushO is another one, not on Discord. But I will say, when you go switch to their X account, they are actively every day spamming X, and spamming in a good way, meaning complete opposite of what we just saw from Combinder. They're on X constantly, showing you that they're working. Several announcements coming out. about different things that they're doing. They're also on Telegram, which, you know, annoys me, but I am still using my BrushO twice a day, every evening, every morning, one before I go to work, making about 200 BrushO tokens a day. What's that coming out to? I don't know. I still don't understand the whole, they're on TGE. Everything's kind of in the internal wallet. I don't know what you can really do with it right now, but I'm not that worried about it. I'm just sitting here collecting tokens. My daughter, fun fact, was hoping Santa was dropping her off a BrushO um, toothbrush, but it seems like every time I go to Helium Deployed, the price changes. I could have sworn these were almost $300. These were $100 and something when they first came out, but of course they've gone up in price. So Santa didn't bring a $250 toothbrush. I think, listen, Helium Deployed supports the channel, gives me the code and stuff like that. I think at $125, $130, $140, whatever it was priced competitively with some other toothbrushes out there. And here goes. This is going to prove to you that I'm not here, like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not here just to tout my code up here. I don't know if I would pay this. You're going to have to really like the fact of running a DePin toothbrush in it for the project and run it for that. One thing I will say is I've had to already swap out one brush. The brush lasted 90 days. I think I've only had to charge this literally 3 times, maybe 4. It does last almost a whole month on one charge. And that's brushing twice a day for the full 2 minutes every time. So, you know, I open up the app, brush with it and stuff like that. So I guess eventually I have to move this over to the main net, but I don't know anything about token price and what it's paying out, what you're gonna do with the tokens. That's why I still left it in the whole testnet section. All right, we're moving on. Next is going to be 4D Sky. So I finally got my 4D Sky setup done, and I feel much more positive about 4D Sky than maybe these other 2 projects. So I probably need to rank 4D Sky up a little higher. It really makes a difference in the testnet section. But I did a full video on 4D Sky without taking up that much more time. But you can go check out those videos, see my setup. Again, my setup is a temporary setup, but hey, we had some 30-mile-an-hour winds today, and my temporary pole that's zip tied up that you saw yesterday with just 2 links of chain link fence for 20 feet high is still standing up straight. Can't complain. Can't complain at all. And this is what I'm getting right now. Currently 99 total aircraft. And I can go to live 2D view and you can see this is what I'm currently getting also. And again, for those people who saw my video, I have this one on a 20-foot pole, which is 2 10-foot chain link top rail fence post put together, zip tied to a piece of pipe that I had in the ground from an old tower radio setup or something like that. And that's what I'm getting. So I'm not doing too bad. Again, for right now, being 6 o'clock at night with some nasty wind and weather and stuff like that going on, still getting about 100 airplane or aircraft. And again, with 4D Sky, you can see that, well, you can see there are several wide open spots for this project still. Project does cost a little more, but hey, they've had like 3 or 4 airdrops already on Helium Deployed. They've all sold out. So while the price is a little more expensive than, say, a Wingbits device, you do have some wide open spaces. Not to say that somebody can't just come step on you tomorrow, but, and I don't know what kind of protections they have set up for that yet. I guess I need to find out, but you know, Mexico's wide open, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, North Mississippi, Tennessee. Like, I mean, you got some wide open areas. New York's only got like 3 or 4 stations. Africa's wide open. And you have some wide open area right here compared to what Wingbits has. So again, the reason I kind of pushed this project a little bit is, yes, it costs a little bit more, but a lot of y'all wish y'all would have got Wingbits sooner, or y'all getting stepped on really bad on the Wingbits because they're so flooded with stations, which is still a good thing for them because, you know, that's redundant stations for them. So I'm not knocking that project at all. And that project's been around now for almost 3 years now. where this project is new. So that's something to look at also. So 4D Sky does have some new updates that are coming out. A new home screen, which looks a lot cleaner. Right now, I'm trying to use the home mapping and it's not even working. Fun fact. So this is their map. And as you can see, it is not showing any of the stations right now. I don't know if this is because they're in the progress of moving to the new map or not, or what, but I was hoping to show y'all kind of what everything looks like. But, so also going into their X, they do have you know, probably the featuring top 5 monitors for 2025 by Helium Deploy. Well, that's because they're selling them. Are you tracking all the aircraft? ADS-B only tracks 50% of aircraft in the sky, where 4D Sky will also do MLAT. And supposedly on that map, you can swap between MLAT and not MLAT. And while I'm not going to pretend like I know everything about MLAT, you can see right here where I have 18 MLAT stations, 19 MLAT aircraft. And you can also see that when I uncheck MLAT, you can see how some disappear or some are updated in different spots. But I do have, again, 20. So that's what they're trying to tout, that they're a little better than Wingbits. I can't really give away too much information, and I don't want to get in any trouble, but I, I kind of wonder, let's just put it as, I kind of wonder if MLAT might be on Wingbits' radar in the future, where right now they're concentrating on TGE and a lot of other stuff. But to me, if they're going to be competitive and they think this could be plus or minus, they might look into it. So again, somewhere on this map, you're going to have 20 different as I click it on and off, they should have 21 different MLAT. Now, I don't know if MLAT is in addition to ADS-B, like it's completely separate, because the video I saw it was, or if some of these aircraft are transmitting both ADS-B and MLAT. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about that. But I know that I do have UAT turned on my device, and I don't see a place to turn it on and off, but I'm currently seeing 0 for the 978. So that is a little confusing, but maybe that's only on the smaller aircraft. I don't know. But that's enough for 4D Sky. I don't want to keep banging on 4D Sky because I did a complete video on it yesterday, and y'all can go check that out, and I'll do some more videos in the future. But again, last thing I want to say about this is, I keep understanding and I'm being told that they're not really in competition with each other. And I know, talking to some guys on Wingbits, they've only had positive things to say. They said the guys from 4D Sky are good guys. They've never said anything negative. Maybe because they're the new guys on the block and they feel they don't have a choice but to throw some shade. But it does seem like in their X post and some of their Discord and some of these places that the 4D Skies do throw a little shade towards Wingbits. I don't know. I'm too busy to get involved and too old to get involved in some of that. Hey, it's competition. I've always said competition is good for business. It'll keep Wingbits on their toes, but I'm still 100% fully into Wingbits. I got 15 stations just for me on Wingbits, plus more that I help out with family and friends. So I'm into both projects now. And you can be in both projects, not the end of the world. All right, so what else is new in the new projects? Beta projects. CapturGO. CapturGO is active on their Discord also. People have been waiting for the Android beta. You can go check out the Android beta for CapturGO, and it is running on this on my phone, basically everywhere. If you're running 4D Sky, I'm sorry, 375, I got so many projects in my mind. 375 AI, you might as well be running this too. And now you can run it on Android. If you want to get in CapturGO, check my link below. It helps you out with a bonus to start out with. Of course, it helps the channel out, and I appreciate it. But go check out CapturGO in the link below if you have an Android phone or if you have an iPhone. I don't find that it kills my battery any faster than it was getting killed before, so it's not the end of the world. And it just runs in the background. What I do find is that, We're at 375 AI. Once you go over some hexes, a couple of days later, you can go over those hexes and get points for those hexes. With this one, once you have purple hexes, you know, on your route, that's it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with CapturGO. But again, it's an easy project. Doesn't cost anything to get in. Check the link below for a link to get in. Thank y'all. All right, moving on. Last but not least is Mastchain. Mastchain is a new project I'm getting into. I was involved, I've told you before, in VHF Marine AIS ship tracking years ago as part of a ham project called APRS, trying to merge AIS and APRS together. While I got a AIS tracker going, it was very hard to get it merged into APRS, at least it was back then. I abandoned it, but now I put that stuff back together and I'm running Mastchain. And as you can see, I'm doing pretty good with it. Getting a good amount of stations, good amount of vessels coming through. If you go to only vessels I track, you can see that I'm doing very well. I had somebody contact me. This is what I'm currently getting, and I won't go bore you all with the mileage again, but I think I'm getting about 20, 30 miles in every direction. You know, this goes to show you don't have to live exactly on the coast. I keep trying to tell people that because I see people who are contacting me or they're in my Discord or Mastchain Discord saying, I want to get this project. It doesn't cost really anything to get in the Mastchain project if you have the devices already. If you have a black SDR, you happen to have a VHF antenna. Some people are making their own VHF antennas by trimming down or, you know, certain antennas and different things like that. I'm not even going to get involved in that. I'll be honest with you, I've never really had big success with that. I've had some success with it, but I've always had better success with the pre-made antennas. The VHF antennas are a little more expensive than what you're finding on a non-15 megahertz or the 1090 side. So VHF, they're a little bit longer, especially if you get a good name brand one like Shakespeare. If you live on the coast, you have salt water around, you're going to want a name brand antenna. These cheap no-name brand antennas are going to rot from the inside out if you're around salt water. But again, this is what I have. I am currently working on another station that's going to go in the Baton Rouge area. Therefore, I will then capture everything from here up here. Eventually, it might go up here. If I can get one around one of my buddies' hunting leases here, I'm going to capture this area also. After that, what I'm working on next is going to be Grand Isle down here because there are a lot of ships that come in and out right here with people going back and forth, and also hopefully possibly catching the stuff going down the river here. It's going to be a little bit harder. I got to see what I can do. I do have a buddy with a with a camp down in the Venice area down here, and I'm gonna have to see what kind of deal I can make with him to get something down there or not. We'll see. But again, I was saying earlier, somebody contacted me earlier saying, "Hey, I'm putting some up in Gulfport." Hey, buddy, go ahead. I'm all for it. You putting some up even right here in Gulfport, which is probably looks like 80 miles from from the crow flies. 80 miles from where I got my antenna at to where he's putting his antenna at, and he's not going to overlap me at all. So we've been having a lot of discussion online on what's going on with painkiller. It's crazy. Online about hexes, and one thing we're not happy about is somebody else can come in my area and we'll still share 100% of the rewards. But when a third person comes, all of us are then knocked down to, 30% less or something like that. And I think that's not right. They're saying they're reviewing it, listen to our feedback. I understand they want redundancy, but for the people who are taking a chance in this project early, they shouldn't be penalized later. Hey, I guess that's how projects go. But to me, if some projects can help it, I'd rather not. I'll say this again, is that just because you live further inland does not mean that you can't do anything, because you have some of these rivers and stuff that go. Mississippi River goes all the way up past Illinois. So depending on where you're at, you might be able to get. That's somebody right here. Sure is. Now here you go. You got somebody right here in the middle of Evansville. It's got to be Illinois, huh? Yeah, so, Indiana. So there's Evansville in Illinois also. This guy's in Indiana. So just take it without me getting too deep into this. You know, Los Angeles looks like they have maybe one station. So if you live on the coast, you need not financial advice. You need to jump into this project. That's all I can say. Jump into the project. I'm gonna do another video on Mastchain a little bit deeper now that we know more about it. Got to get this station together. Try to get a VHF station for Baton Rouge, and eventually one for South Louisiana, whether it's Venice or Grand Isle. I'm getting it down. I'm getting them 3 stations lined up, and then hold there and see what happens. You know, that's the one good thing about it. I don't have to worry about sitting here putting stations all over the place, all over the United States and stuff like that, because not every place has waterways and stuff. So I hope this video doesn't end up being too long. So, you know, I'm sure it's going to be at least an hour, even though I try not to talk too much, but just covering, you know, we're up to 19 projects that we're covering right now. Plus a little bit I discussed, I'm sorry, it's 20 projects. You know, it's 20 projects right now when you include EarnApp. Plus, you know, the little bit I discussed before that. So that's how much I'm in right now. And you wonder why I can't keep up with who's got what wallet and stuff like that, especially with older age. So I appreciate everybody who supported the channel. We'll be back Tuesday night talking about, you know, Silencio, maybe some more Mastchain, some more 4D Sky, some of these newer projects like that. And hey, whatever else anybody wants to talk about or bring up. So I'm sure we'll have an interesting live Tuesday night. We'll see about Thursday night. But I appreciate all the support. If I don't see you on the live, you know, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hopefully 2026 brings us everything we want. You know, 2025 wasn't that great for you. To me, it just seems to bring more debt and more bills. So, you know, hopefully Wingbits TGE, we get some of these prices that people on my Discord, like Who Farted and all them guys, keep saying that they think the price is going to be. I think they're a little up there, a little crazy on them price predictions, but we'll see. Because if we have some of the price predictions those guys keep saying, you'll never hear me talk about being in debt again. That's all I can say with 1 million tokens of Wingbits. But we'll see. So thank y'all for watching. Can't wait for 2026, see what it brings. See y'all in the live, which will probably be tonight. Since I'm doing this video early because I didn't go to work today, again, because I had my little procedure this morning. And again, luckily I got to do that again for 10 years. But since I already released a video on Monday with the algorithm, YouTube algorithm is killing me right now because I've not been doing a lot of videos. So I'll probably release this video on Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time, and then I'll see y'all on the live Tuesday night. And we'll see, you know, we'll see what kind of videos we bring for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, lives or whatever like that. We'll play it by ear. So thank y'all for watching. See y'all next video.